Yesterday I went and visited a manufacturer of fancy pet items, like stuff you'd find in a pet boutique. Crazy little jackets and sweaters and fancy collars and leashes and everything. And I went because my sister has a company that sells that kind of stuff. It's furryfashionista.com. So I went to check out this manufacturer that has a really good reputation for doing high quality items. And anyway, it was fun to see their factory and everything. But the thing that struck me was that their whole line, all of their products that they had on display, have the Juicy Couture branding. So they all say Juicy all over them. And these are products that Juicy, the company, the brand itself, the fashion brand, never manufactured. They didn't do a dog house, and they didn't do this fancy dog carrier and everything. So it's not necessarily a knockoff in that way, where this company isn't copying their product. They're just making their own product. They're designing their own product and putting somebody else's brand on it. In this case, the Juicy brand. And seeing this, seeing this company innovating, they're not the normal knockoff artists that you would think of, because they're innovating and they're making new products. They're doing cool designs. They have 4 graphic designers there working. Seeing this company innovate on top of someone else's brand and trying to make the best product that they can, not just trying to make a cheap version of an existing product. It made me think of it almost like an open source brand. And I just wanted to kind of share that idea with you. This isn't that exactly, because Juicy, I'm sure, would much rather that they weren't putting their brand all over these products. But when a company, or a bunch of different companies, like here in China, you see Calvin Klein underwear everywhere. Now, none of it's actual Calvin Klein underwear, but most of it's not even a knockoff of Calvin Klein underwear. It's underwear that they designed, and they just put Calvin Klein's name on it. So they're treating these brands as though they're open source. And it just made me think, maybe in the future there's a place for open source brands where everybody, all the manufacturers would manufacture and just put a brand name on it, or put something on it. And maybe an example of this would be like the I Love New York shirts, or maybe it's that smiley, classic smiley face, where a lot of different manufacturers use it, but nobody's paying royalties or rights to the actual owner of the brand. But anyway, I just wanted to throw this idea out there. If you've seen examples of this in the world, let me know in the comments. And I just think it might be kind of a cool design challenge for a designer to start an open source brand, where the whole point from the start was to let any manufacturer use the brand and innovate on top of the brand, but where the designer would be providing a really cool style, really cool logo type font, that image, but then anybody could innovate on top of it. As an example of this in Magic is the way some manufacturers have used the bicycle brand, making products that U.S. playing cards never manufactured, like a super huge jumbo deck or a silk with a bicycle playing card on it. These people aren't trying to take away from the bicycle brand. They're not trying to knock it off. They're trying to be a part of it. So it's something where we can't carry those products because they're not approved by U.S. playing card, but it's not a knockoff in the same sense that we generally would think of a knockoff. So that's one example. I'm sure there are many more, but I think it's kind of a neat concept. And what would happen if a company did it on purpose? Calvin Klein and Juicy and Bicycle aren't saying, hey, use our brand, make great products. But what would happen if a company decided to open source their brand and embrace that? So that's the idea, and let me know in the comments if you've got any ideas on this.